This whole thing will be shut down. What? Okay, that's a boundary. Any other boundaries?
No, of course not. And like I said, anything is
Right.
edit-outable.
Right.
So, all good, man.
Oh.
I don't know if it's just because Lane is so earthy, but I'm gonna burn some sage, brother.
Nothing but gotta clear the vibes. Well, the vibes are good.
Take off my boots.
Take off the boots.
Take off my
shoes.
boots. Get a little comfortable.
Like sage enhances the vibe. You know?
Absolutely. Well, you have the olfactory being influenced as well as.
What is that?
Else. No, senses.
Oh, the smell. The smell.
And it'll bring you somewhere. It brings me to somewhere clean. It brings me to somewhere spiritual. And it brings me to somewhere diligent and conscious that you have the awareness to put in the action to create the space. Maybe.
There you go.
There you go.
I mean, they say that like gets rid of spirits. Like spirits hate the smell of sage. Like what? How do I get it?
They absorb it and then it dissipates it.
Ah, but why sage? That's just like an old something.
I mean, I think it actually has like microbial properties and stuff too, benefits. It's been used in ceremonies for a long time, hasn't it?
I mean, I know it has,
Right,
yeah, but
but why
like scientifically, or like
Palo
why?
Santo
Why
is-
sage?
right.
Is it just like, oh, this smells good, like let's burn it at ceremonies, and then over time people are like, oh, it gets rid of spirits? I don't know. Or maybe it gets rid of spirits. Which is actually kind of what I wanted to talk about. Like all these things that are like maybe total bullshit, maybe real, maybe half real, but like I don't know. There's an effect, placebo or not. But I've been sort of trying to embrace these things a little more. Like I did hypnotherapy recently, or doing your breathwork class. These are things I would have really just rolled my eyes at. Like
Just one eye.
One
Really are a pirate,
roll.
Paul.
It'd be
like
your,
5 years ago or 10
Paul,
years
your
ago.
your third eye rolling clearly.
I would roll my third eye at it. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, like even when I tell people like, oh yeah, we did this breathwork class and like it was really powerful.
That's when they say like, oh, you live in LA.
Right.
You know, it's
Like
like,
the most LA
okay.
thing you could say. But like, I mean, okay.
I'm
explain
a
to
really
people.
good actor. I pretend I'm a breathwork teacher. Just go up there,
Let's explain to
What
people what breathwork is and like what is happening when you're doing breathwork. Like why?
I can't speak. Well, I can speak a little bit scientifically,
Yeah.
but
Push that up on you a little bit. Sorry. Thank you.
push it up, but don't breathe into it. Maybe
You can breathe.
breathe.
You can sneeze.
We're live. You're a breathwork
Breathe.
teacher.
Breathwork.
So yeah, you are a breathwork instructor. We took your class twice,
yep.
which is really like you sort of guide through it. And yeah, I mean, it was insanely powerful, like way more than I would have ever expected, and a uniquely powerful thing that I've never felt that doing anything else.
I would agree.
So what's
It
going
was
on?
like kind of akin to yoga in some ways, like in terms of you can get a wide range of success in a yoga class or in a breathworks class, you
Sure.
know. Really is like about grounding and getting into your body and your breath. So
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know. Okay.
Getting in your body, getting out of your
automatic breath, getting into a
your
manual
body
mode.
and out of your
Out
head.
of your head into
Out of
your
your
body.
head.
I was amazed by the sensations like in my body. I was tingling. It let out so much emotion in me the first time. That was really cool. That was wild.
yeah.
So Paul, when you said it was powerful, just now, Tyne talked what that power was. She felt tingling in her body. She let out a lot of emotions or worked through a lot of emotions. So basically, from my understanding of breathwork, and I started in 2019, so just 5 years new on the experience, taught hundreds of classes at this point, but and it's a big kind of buzzword, is the nervous system reset. I don't really know what's going on, but I know that I believe that your breath is your spirit, and our spirit gets stagnated. We use the words depression, repression, or suppression, pushing down emotions. Emotion is energy in motion or not. So when unease comes, it's from stagnant energy. Now, I'm not here to dismiss cancer or other ailments that are, I mean, they're real. Western medicine's a beautiful thing when used correctly, but there's other ways that I have found, that I've experienced, that you both have experienced and explained, of creating space in our body to feel that electromagnetic energy, that buzzing, in words like prana, mana, life force, chi. We have words for this.
That's the
energy.
tingling.
I think so. I mean, science-wise, right, our veins are constricting.
Okay.
But that just says like blood's going to other parts of our body or other parts of our brain. But so what is that tingling? I don't know. Joe Dispenza talks about like it affecting the pineal gland, which will be a whole nother like, well, what's going on up there? You know, what's up with third eye or whatever it may be. So it's really hard to articulate and talk about it scientifically of what's going on in hypnosis. What's the subconscious? So the idea of breath work is that we're breathing in a different type of pattern to access different parts of our mind. We're controlled by the prefrontal cortex, our thinking mind, our rationalizing mind, our making sense, our keeping us safe mind. And so that's the filter that we see life, and that filter should be on. It keeps us safe. But it also keeps us in our same thoughts that we're always in. And when we're in those thoughts become a loop, and often they're detrimental. They're not necessarily uplifting all the time. So doing this breath work gets us into a different part of our mind, or so it's believed and felt and experienced, that allows us to see beyond what we normally see. Seeing a new filter, let's just say like in an eye thing. That's it. That's the changing of the filter.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more akin to meditation than like, I don't know. It's really akin to like a meditation. Like you're so focused on this one thing, which is also giving you this physical sensation. But that could just be the heavy breathing for some reason puts blood into the head, so the body, it's like your foot's asleep, but the whole body constricts.
Right.
My hands always end up going like this. They call it like a lobster claw.
Lobster claw and tetany, like the veins. It is a cramp, so we can bounce back between scientific and energetic. So it's not all LA woo woo for anybody listening not in LA. But
I mean, I like that. I like the scientific of it. You know, it's like it's not magic.
No,
something's just happening. Magic. Or is it magic?
Yeah, it could be magic. It's energy. And it's like, yes, our veins are constricting, carbon dioxide and oxygen, the ratio is getting different. But it's producing this high, this meditation or high. I mean, we use the word high. We use drugs. Drugs release chemicals, and the chemicals make us feel. So maybe through this breath, those chemicals are getting released, oxytocin, serotonin, whatever it may be. So we feel good. And like you said, the meditation part is, to me, it's the deepest form of meditation. So we have direct focus. We're focused only on one thing. And we're taught or guided to watch our thoughts without participating in them, which is really hard. What's meditation? The observance of the thoughts.
Right.
Contemplation would be after meditation. Okay, I gave myself space. The mind played itself out. Now I can see, like, okay, think about it. Like now I'm directing my thoughts.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Yeah, it's but like, okay, it's releasing chemicals, oxytocin, whatever. So. That's
even cortisol.
Not magic.
Cortisol.
That's chemistry.
Chemistry.
You know, like,
yeah. Not
there
magic.
is a whatever is happening, and maybe there's parts
response.
of it we don't understand.
Right.
But it's not magic. It's not completely.
No, it's physiological.
Unexplainable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's physiological. It's physiological.
I love the physiology of all of it.
Physiology is fucking my favorite.
Unfathomable.
Yeah, it's
It really is wild.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I think it's funny, and I try to keep humor. I have the utmost integrity when I'm leading a session.
You're the best.
You know, I appreciate that. I go in there like, this has been so therapeutic for me, and by therapeutic, emotionally releasing and feeling lighter and happier, and sometimes cry and laugh. But I try to keep the humor in it of like, it's so funny that I'm going there, a normal human being, and just helping 30 people all of a sudden release what happened to them when they were 22 years old. Mind bending. So I keep showing up for it because the work is super powerful. Just put my hands behind my back.
You can put your hands wherever you want.
You're not under arrest. We love these ideas.
Secret is out.
I feel like anytime you're being really honest about like a situation, like there's humor there, because it's like, isn't this ridiculous? Like even like look at what we're doing right now.
Right.
The way we have houses on this road, like it's goofy. It's silly. And like if you're really being honest about reality, like there's humor, you know?
Ideally, but other tightly wound people don't find the humor in the reality, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
And like with the scientific...
This is like also, there's no we're an instant gratification culture. So breath work is not that.
It's work.
It's work.
Yeah.
You know, there's no way about it. It's like a physical act, you know, even more so than meditation, obviously, because it's just like so commanding of your breath.
Yes, but like in 40 minutes, you're going to feel something. Like,
Yes.
or how long the classes even that we've done? An hour?
It's an hour session, and you breathe for about 24 minutes.
So in a half hour, like you can get some, you're going to feel something. It's not like something you got to do for years. And,
Actually,
like,
yeah, to jump in
it is
and
pretty.
But it's like, oh, no, sorry, please.
To add on what he's saying, it's not instant gratification. It's 30 minutes, but you feel it right away. But if you go to psychotherapy, which I'm all for, you know, having a therapist, having someone to bounce ideas off you, you're going for weeks, months, years. Some people have the same therapist for years. I don't want to go to the same therapist and have the same shit going on. I'm meeting with the same exact person, having the same exact effects. Like, what am I doing? We're just hanging out at this point. Like, whereas breath work is sort of instant gratifying, but it's a practice too. If you like anything else, like we are so trained for hedonism. Like it feels good now. I want more, and now we're chasing the dragon. You know.
Oh yeah, hedonism, love it.
But I also
it feels good sometimes. Right?
Yeah.
I guess I mainly was bringing it up because for me, like the first class, I had a really intense reaction, and the second class, I didn't have the same intense response.
Chasing the dragon.
I mean, I've only done it 2 times, right? So that's just the experience it was. But I found my mind more distracted. Like the breath was more laborsome the second time, and I had a harder time with it. And maybe it was because I had high expectations, or maybe I was just like a little afraid of I don't know.
The unknown.
Yeah, who knows?
Well, and even, you know, if you meditate every day, some days you're going to wake up and you'll just be like, man, I just cannot get centered. And then some days you're going to be like, wow, this is like really powerful. And it just kind of, so maybe it just, that second one caught you on a day like that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, do you find that there's like a sort of tapering off? Does it increase with everyone? I mean, you've taught so many, but how many have you like done the breathing?
Never done it before.
You're not even breathing during that.
You should
Yeah.
probably try sometime. I heard it's
Like,
pretty
how'd you fucking breathe? This
Looks
guy's just
pretty
yelling at me the whole time. No, just kidding.
like a coxswain. You pedal, I stay up here. Each time I felt is different. And by that, the first time there's fear often because unknown. But people, let's say, get off, like get into a space, cool. And then the second time they have a little bit of knowledge and then they try to manipulate what's going on and cool.
Right.
Could have happened to me.
Yeah. And I found the third time people blast off. And then the fourth time I'm chasing the third time. This is my experience.
Okay.
You know, fourth and fifth time I'm chasing the third time. And now I understand the effects it has in the dreamlike state I can access. And, you know, if I'm upset or whatever, I probably do it 4 times a month. So once a week or so, once every 2 weeks sometimes, of that type of breathing. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Just by yourself.
Yeah, I do breath of fire every day. That's my meditation because it's guided and it gives me something to...
What's breath of fire exactly?
So you're breathing quick, offloading a lot of carbon dioxide, heating the body, also burning through mental impurities like we're doing with this sage, you know? So you hit the Google button, it's like, why sage? And it's just, again, like we don't even need words. People are just making shit up at this point, you know? And it's like, oh, it purifies the air. Purifies it from what? Like,
Right.
You know, toxins.
Yeah, it's
Toxins.
like it's like this smoothie gets rid of toxins. Like
Right.
what toxins?
What is there?
Tell me the toxins and like where are they? You know,
Mercury, lead, you know, that.
like I just feel like all this shit should be at some
Canned
point.
fish, you know, they're in there. They find their way.
Yeah, I feel like at some point these things should be measurable to an extent. Like with like there's electricity in the body, you know, like that's a fact. An EKG measures your electricity in your body. Like this, I'm flicking there's a literal electric signal being shot through my nervous system to do this right now. Like we are electricity. And they say like if you stand on these grounding mats or if you're barefoot outside, you're grounded.
Or if you tie your bed to a steel post outside.
Yeah, if you took a rod and like stick it. You've heard of these things
No,
that
keep going
people
with
do?
the bed. Keep going with the bed, though. Keep going.
So, I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, if your amp, you know, sometimes a guitar amp is like, just like buzzing. You're like, what is this buzzing? It's not grounded. And if you took that signal and you grounded it, that sound goes away. Like, because it's just on a loop. So, like, electrical things need to ground. However, I've never seen.
That's it.
But I've never seen anybody like hook electric measurements up to them, be like, okay, look, you can see it, and then now I'm going to step outside barefoot, and you will see the electricity or the measurement of the electricity dissipate. Like, I've never seen that.
Yeah.
And I would think after all these products, all this stuff, if that evidence exists, like, look, you lay on the bed, literally, that's what's happening. Like, show it to me, measure it and show it to me, you know?
My ignorance, help me out here. Could you secrete dopamine? Can they tap? Secretion is in like liquid form. We know it's a chemical, right? A chemical reaction. Can it be secreted? Is it tangible? So do you know like oxytocin or cortisol or that stuff, those chemicals that are being released,
Right.
neurotransmitters too, are they tangible? And if not, then I think that would help our quest on the energetic field of like if they're saying it's being released.
Right, when there's like...
Is it like blood where it's like liquid form? I don't know.
Right, is dopamine a literal chemical or is it like a signal?
Right.
Like a...
And if
Do you have your phone on you?
know, yeah, somebody look it up. If you know and you're watching...
That is a
then,
good question.
Help us out.
What's the adrenochrome? That's the thing that they think that like the elites like suck out of kids and it's like from fear, but it makes you live forever. Have you heard about that?
Yeah,
I heard about
yeah.
the one guy who like regularly did blood transfusions with his teenage son.
Yeah.
Like,
And
what?
that's good. And it's
No, they're
a blood transfusion with a younger person who has very similar DNA to you, I think would be good.
You look at me. I don't know. I'm still... Oh, the bed. How is the bed getting grounded outside?
So-
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
so
so
it-
this guy, like, actually, I think he's based in Tucson or something, is what I remember. He
Classic.
Heard it's a spot.
he was experimenting with just attaching a metal rod to his bed frame, and like literally putting it outside through the window, and had a miraculous experience. Lost a lot of like back pain and joint issues and all this stuff that was plaguing him. And he started sharing his experience and finding it was like happening with tons of other people. And I'm pretty sure the university like has begun studying it now.
Yeah, and I'm sure they have. And these things are now replicable. Like a Joe Dispenza who's healed himself through positive thought, or other people that are doing this miraculous work. Like the body obviously has inner intelligence. And some of these people are tapping into it maybe, finding different ways.
Yeah.
To ground
Leveling
that
up a little,
vibration. What's
yeah.
that? Yeah, it's like constant study of...
Kind of just like mastering the tool of your own body, your own
That's
journey.
the yoga, that's it. And breathwork is one of those things, like mastering the...
For
the
example,
discipline.
I was asking Paul, like, every once in a while I'm driving and you just sort of like come to again, where you're like, where was I? I was just so distracted. Not like distracted, but just...
Daydreaming.
Yeah, daydreaming, just like literally automatic mode, you know?
Right.
Then you come to and you're just on the other side. But like,
Where'd you go?
where did I go? That was so unsafe, you know?
No, but I bet you, if a car stopped in front of you, you would have stopped. You
I
wouldn't have
know,
hit it.
but that's what I'm saying. Is this
Stimuli
is the
would've taken you
opposite
back
of
in.
getting of that, like that trance-like state where I'm just driving to work one morning, like all the other mornings, and I'm not thinking of it. Breathworks is the gift of like actually stepping into.
Presence of
Presence.
just being, yes,
It's like that-
absolutely. It
the
pulls
ultimate.
that veil out.
So I mean, it makes
pretty
sense that
wild.
you would be able to reap some rewards when you do that amount of meditation, that amount of check-in. That
Oh,
amount
yeah,
of-
definitely.
like
mean,
it's cool.
it's-
It starts to like work for itself too. All the gains like start to just snowball.
So I think kind of reversing back, I don't know if I said it, but one of the buzzwords is our nervous system reset. I did say it.
You did.
So the breath is, to me, the quickest way to get into our nervous system. And we often operate in our sympathetic fight, flight, or freeze. We're reacting to stimuli. And it's become so heightened, especially because all the news we're reading. So this allows us to have a sympathetic experience and experience that with a parasympathetic response. In other words, you're being stimulated, whether it's cortisol, oxytocin, serotonin, whatever the chemical is. You're feeling a lot of emotion happen. I just put my arms up like this because it's the emotion coming up. And then you're relaxing into feelings. So instead of responding from anger or sadness, whatever, you're just allowing the feeling, the emotion to move, which is the opposite of stagnant energy.
Yeah. I feel like, again, this is just a feeling, but like
Today,
that
now,
energy
this
kind
feeling.
of stagnates, and like, especially with like moving your body, like burning off energy. Like, I feel like if it just sits in you, it like starts to rot or something. Like I start to feel
Absolutely.
anxiety, and you can like literally burn that off.
And you do what?
physically.
You are working
Moving.
it out.
Yeah.
You're working it out. What are you
and
working
you're breathing
out?
a
What are you
lot,
working
and you're
through?
yeah. The breath work is kind of great because it's like it's a meditation, so it's bringing you into the moment. It's focus your mind singularly, but you're focusing on like
Single
excessive
point of
breathing. So it's
presence.
a very physical, very healthy thing you're doing that you're using to
Well, and
meditate
it's
on.
you-centric, right? You can't really
Right.
clock out. You can't mentally check out because you're the one controlling the show. If you
Yeah.
lose your focus, the show like the experience stops.
That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
So-
It's like driving the car.
Right,
Like that
you
same
can't-
part of your brain that was driving the car is now doing this like intense breathing kind of.
It's like all the parts of my brain, all the parts of me driving the car, same place.
So you're affecting brain waves, and we live in our beta, and those are waves, I guess vibrations. I don't know.
Call me a beta?
I'm just call you a sigma. I'm just starting to learn about what the sigma
I don't
is.
know.
Anyone know what's
I've
what's
never
a
heard of sigma.
No,
thing?
I don't know.
No, sigma. It's a thing now.
It's like a type of like person
like
in a
I'm A
relationship.
little bit an alpha. There's a beta and like a sigma. What's a sigma?
Sounds
Chad,
cool.
You know Chad and JT at all? Comedians. Shout
No.
out to Chad and JT. They're hysterical. They're the guys that go to like the town hall meeting and they're like, "All right, brother, we're gonna come here," and they're really articulate, but they talk as like surfers.
Okay,
Highly
I've
recommend it.
definitely seen some clip like that.
He's funny. But yeah, he was saying whatever we were just talking about. Lost the train of thought. there.
Yeah,
Choo-choo.
I lost it too.
Yeah. So if you could live forever, because we were talking about the transfusions, like, would you?
I would take. I'd go for like 200 or 300.
And then decide, or like,
Yeah, probably. I
call
mean,
it?
you take it as you come, but I don't think I'd want to live forever. I mean, death. I want to experience death. That's like, that's the number one. Like,
Fear, number one, unknown.
I was gonna say it's the number one piece of the human experience.
That-
being born and dying.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, it's the
that's
number
it.
two. Yeah.
That's the whole thing. And so I wouldn't want to deprive myself of that.
But does your
I would.
just keep going? Just say
I
it.
mean, I
What-
just think
what
it'd
if
be
it's
so
like
interesting to
long
see.
sleep?
Yeah, I would want to see a lot.
Yeah,
I'd wanna stick around
I
for a
think I'd
while.
be too tempted to know how crazy the ride would get. How crazy humanity would be.
But eventually you probably get to a point where you say,
I know.
one of my favorite
I do
quote
like to sleep.
is in the movie Hook.
Okay.
And Hook says, like, death is the only adventure I have left.
Dang. Over. Yeah.
And it's like
Been
such
there,
a hard
seen
line,
it,
but
yeah.
it's like
So well lived.
eventually you get to a point where
Yeah.
death is the only adventure you have left. And I think you'd want to choose it. But
really
it
nice.
would be cool to get to a point medically where we choose our death. Like, hey,
Yeah, I
I'm
would like that.
250. I've seen it all. Like, Cubs won the World Series. That's good enough for me.
You want to be able to
I'm
use
going.
it if you want to. If you want it, no one tell me otherwise. I'm going out.
Wait, what's that?
I mean, like,
Yes.
you're right. It would be torturous if you could not
Oh, if you couldn't die.
never. Yeah, if you couldn't.
Yeah.
If you could never die, it would get old.
I would rather die at 80 than live forever.
How about
Wow.
like dogs don't have the concept of death. Other animals besides humans don't have the concept, so they're just they're just living.
You think
Maybe-
so?
I
don't know.
I don't know. I
mean,
think
they
it's
see their
proven.
offspring die. They see people in their
Right,
They
that
see other
fucking gazelle
animals
gets
die.
eaten, yeah.
I don't think that's true.
But they didn't, that's like the humans, we bit the apple in the tree of knowledge. Like, we are burdened with, like, that is our suffering, that we have that knowledge. We're going to
Ourselves.
die. We know ourself. We have this ego, this sense of self.
Yeah, but
Like,
more and more we're realizing that animals have these very similar thought processes and things happening.
But do you think bears ever go, like, to another bear, like, man, like, aren't bears weird?
No.
Like, aren't we kind of weird? Like, I'm a bear? Like, but humans do that. They go like, dude, humans are we're so weird. But
The only
like,
species
it's not that we're that
think
much
about
weirder than bears.
themselves.
It's that we have this elevated consciousness, which is sort of a burden. It is
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
burden. It's our suffering. Like, is that knowledge?
You ever see Grizzly Man?
Yes.
Great movie.
Amazing.
You haven't seen it?
no.
It's worth watching.
It's
All right.
worth watching. This guy,
He may or may
like,
not get eaten by
lives with grizzlies and like really, he just loves them so much, but eventually they eat him.
soon as he brings his woman there. Brings his woman out to observe him a bit, and he gets eaten.
Wow.
Yeah, just the consciousness of those grizzlies.
Oh, but like dolphins
Yeah.
can choose. Every breath is a fully conscious breath. They don't have that like automatic breath. If I try to choke myself out, I'll pass out and my body will start breathing again. Dolphins can just choose, I'm done breathing, I will die. They can commit suicide. They do it in captivity. They don't do it like in the wild, but they seem to be aware of something if that's the case. If you can kill yourself,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, I mean, there was that mom orca who pushed around her dead calf for 2 days up the California coast. I mean,
Well, you could definitely mourn.
but like that implies some
Yeah, you're right.
understanding of permanence and, loss, grief. Like, those are complicated emotions.
Yeah, and I think like evolutionarily, mothers love and protect their young. Fathers too.
Innately,
Sometimes they
yeah.
eat them. Depends on the species.
Yeah.
But like,
Shout out to seahorse dads. What up?
They give them birth.
They
right?
raise the pups.
Like, don't they give the
carry
birth
them.
too?
Yeah. They carry them.
Just shoot them right out the belly, like thousands.
yeah.
Would you rather the head of a human and a horse body,
Okay.
or the horse body, head of human, body of human, horse head?
Body of human, horse head, I think.
Really?
I think so.
I would take the horse body.
Your Pegasus, isn't that a Pegasus?
I would take the horse body. It'd be like, you're still like hot.
We would no longer be compatible.
You just do 69, you're great. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I would take the horse body. You'd be fast as fuck. I mean, I picture you'd also be like ripped.
Jacked.
Or something. Yeah, like you're a fucking
I mean, you
horse,
have to hold your body upright constantly
Yeah,
like
you'd have
that.
your dick would be too big. You could only have sex with horses, though.
Yourself,
Right.
probably, but yeah.
But what are you gonna do? Like you got hooves.
I mean, you're like,
Can horses
hung
suck
like a
their own
horse.
dick?
Oh, jeez.
I don't know how.
Of all the episodes to
I doubt
not
it.
have a phone
I
to
doubt
Google.
it.
I don't know. I'm sure they would if they could, and I've yet to see.
If they could, they
happen.
would. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
so-
they got those teeth.
That's
though.
why most
So
species
you have
can't.
human. Oh, but how are you gonna suck a horse dick? It's so big, and you have a human head, so you can't really suck the dick, and you can't jack off. You'd have to start just fucking horses. That's tough.
Or humans,
Or humans.
and then recreating the horse human that is once that.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's hope they don't do a flip.
So your kid would be a fourth horse?
Yeah,
Fourth horse?
Force. It'd be total force.
I'm so glad we got to all these pressing issues.
Yeah. But so like with these things and trying new things, I have been trying to be more open lately.
Yeah,
and like I
saw-
did hypnotherapy.
You told me about hypnotherapy. What,
Yeah.
reiterate your experience with it or what it is.
So our buddy Ron hypnotized me. I did 5 sessions. Well, hypnotized me.
Is there a
I did-
motorcycle in your earphones?
Yeah,
Yes. Street
part of it.
noise,
Yeah,
loud.
it's part of it.
It's loud.
It's part of the experience.
Yeah, sometimes I don't know what I'm listening to and what's...
But it was also a lot of, he studied a lot of neurolinguistic programming. So most of it is just therapy, just talking. What do you want? How are you? And I've been reading a lot of self-help books, doing therapy. So I kind of knew like what I was hoping to get out of this. So anyway,
Do you want to share that or no?
yeah, I mean, I just had I said I have these really big goals and I just have these kind of self-doubt sometimes and these hurdles where I feel like I just am hitting a wall and I don't want to feel like that. I want to be confident
Yeah.
in what I'm doing and I'm confident long term, but it's that short term am I doing the right thing today though? So I just wanted to try it. And so each session was him asking me a lot of questions and then
The same questions?
No, it's never you're getting sleepy or nothing like that. There was never I'll snap and you're a chicken, nothing like that. I was always fully conscious. I was even thinking at times did he say that? Is that part of his method? I was trying to and I even told him that. I was is that bad that I'm also thinking, I'm also logically analyzing what you're doing to me? And he's no, because a part of you is still hearing what I'm saying and going through what we're doing. So we did a visualization of literally view a timeline in front of you. This is now, that's 5 years from now. Walk to that spot. Let's feel that success you're trying to get. Let's feel those dreams and just feel feel it,
Yeah. Put it in your nervous system, basically.
kind of, and at least in your subconscious, I also told him man, I miss when I was a kid. I had no worries, especially 16-year-old me, just chilling, hanging out with friends, walking around, but life was just easy. I was patient, I was calm, I was happier. And I was I missed that feeling. And so we did a thing of all right, let's go back to that feeling. Tell me about it, talk me through it. you know, and it's a lot of like just sort of surrendering. Like if I'm sitting there being like, this isn't working, this is a waste of time, like it probably wouldn't work, you know? Like you have to join with it.
Right.
If any sort of thought came up, I spoke it. That's what I did. Like I didn't hold back. He said anything else, I said, oh yeah, oh shit, there's this or that. Like I just let it go. Whatever, it was like a straight line from my mind to my
Stream
mouth.
of consciousness.
Stream of consciousness.
Yes.
But yeah, man, it was just really cool, really powerful, really felt good. And like we were saying, maybe total placebo, but who cares? Like, what's the difference? You know, like in medical trials.
Who does it matter to? For me to tell you it works or not, it worked for you.
Yeah.
Regardless of the way it worked, the intricacies of the workings, you walked away and you felt good about yourself. You felt good about the work. You felt good about the practice.
I mean, I guess where you have issues is where it comes to like selling it.
Right.
You know, if you're saying this works, I'm just saying it works for me. I'm not saying hypnotherapy is even real.
So the
I can just say it worked for me.
Person smoking cigarettes comes to see me. I'm a hypnotherapist and says, "I'm gonna beat you." Like, I'm not gonna quit. Guess what? You're not gonna quit. But
right. Exactly.
if they come and they're like, "I'm open to do the work. Help me. Tell me." Oh, they told me to name 10 colors. And I went home and I smoked. And I came back next time and named 10 colors and smoked 9 cigarettes instead of 10. Like, the work is the work, and we're putting you in a mindset, or the work is putting you into a mindset to do the fucking work. The work is almost like not even the work. The work is like the preparation for the work that you have to do.
I mean, it's even like hiring a personal trainer, but then going to the gym, be like, I'm not even going to do the lifting. Like, and it's like, okay, well, you're not going to get the results. Like, you still have to do, and it was like, some days were like, I was exhausted at the end.
Oh, interesting.
You know, like, I came home like, there's a
emotion.
lot of emotions, just a lot of like.
Yeah, you were kind of always, like, usually heavy, just kind of worn out by the end.
Heavy, and like, some of the days were like, got into like kind of heavier stuff, and so it was just like drained, you know?
It's like reliving the experience. And it's believed that our bodies are cellular libraries, and so they have storage of every experience that happened to us gets stored somewhere, you know, like psychosomatic is mind into body. And then like, what is stress? Stress is reaction, to cortisol, but like what's baggage and burden and all this stuff we put in words on, but aren't measurable, but everybody wants to know if it's real or not real. And
it's real.
The
tension headaches I get and the stiffness in my neck, it's real. You know, these things manifest physically. There's no denying it.
No denying it. What's the number one killer? Stress, right? And heart attacks or whatever.
Yeah.
But what does it emanate from? It emanates from the same hamster wheel everybody's running on and not having perspective around the wheel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so stress and feeling better about just like as I walk through the day is mostly what I was addressing, and I feel like I got a lot out of it, you know?
I think we're all capable of feeling good, but feeling good is challenging, and you have to do stuff, and other stuff is going to make you not feel good. Right? By stuff, I mean you have to sleep, you have to exercise, you have to drink. You have to do the thing. Like, you got to water the plant. If you don't water that plant over there, it's like...
But you also have to believe it. If you're a person who walks around saying, like, life is hard for me, things don't work out for me, like, it's not gonna. Like, you need to be able to say, like, it... You know, it's like that victim mentality.
Right.
If you think of yourself as a victim, you'll be a victim forever.
It's your reality, totally.
And like, you have to say like I can do it.
So it's like a mindset shift. But that person, I want to find that person who is meditating, exercising, sleeping, drinking water, that's walking around saying, I'm always a victim. I feel like people that do the work and have an understanding around it aren't going to victimize themselves because they're too busy being creators. Like, you're either a victim or a creator. You know, if you want to keep living what happened to you, you're a victim. Like, I'm sorry that happened to you. It's not your fault, but your responsibility to still feel good. Pursue happiness, not just be happy. It's like,
I don't know if I agree with your verbiage, but these are just words. But you can be, plenty of creators are also have a victim mentality.
Creators in that aspect, right?
You know, painters, like the classic, like, you know, like
brings them
distraught artists, like my life is so hard and I'm gonna make this. Again, some beautiful art comes from that.
Right.
I mean, I kind of related to that energy in like my 20s too, you know, or not victim energy, but just like A little bit. Like I was always like wanting a satisfying, fulfilling partnership I didn't have. So then I felt like I was like waiting for that, and it was just sort of like aimless sometimes.
Were you telling yourself like, oh, I'm not a person who gets a good partner, or?
I thought I had like a curse because I hadn't really had like long relationships. I remember thinking I like couldn't make it to a year, you know? So when I had that first relationship, it was like, oh, geez, okay. Curse is broken.
Curse is broken.
It's all new experiences and new stuff, though, based on an old mindset. So you have the experience. It's a 1-year relationship. You have the mindset. It gets in the next relationship. I don't know.
Right.
But a lot of shit happens to people. Like, people have a lot of shit, and life isn't fair, and I feel sympathy. I don't feel badly. Maybe I feel badly, but for the people that have serious trauma or stuff, that constant struggle or challenges, that I don't know if these modalities, you know, maybe I'm a
it's true,
cis white man who's privileged. Okay, like that's fair. I mean, I say that because I give back and I do the things I can do. I'm aware of my situation, so I don't think it's just like, go ahead, do some breath work, you'll be great, you know.
Yeah, that's true. And I have had a very privileged life as well, but I think there are people who probably grew up with my same life but don't have the same attitude. And like there probably are people born way more like financially, whatever, every metric, privileged than I grew up, and they hate their life and they're stressed and they're sad. And there's probably someone what we would call like dirt poor who has a great attitude and they're having a really fulfilling, nice life. And they're like, hey, I have my family, we eat, I go to like, I do my work, and like this life is beautiful, you know. And like I think the attitude still affects a lot. But you're right. I've been very privileged. I wouldn't go up to a poor person and be like, you know, you just have a shitty attitude. Like, it's not the case.
But still,
your perspective can change any situation.
Everything's always a choice, even if they're in it. It's like Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. Did I give you that book?
No, I haven't read that one.
Did you read that book? 100% worth reading. It's called logotherapy. He was in a concentration camp, and I wouldn't say he was happy, but he found contentment in it. And it's like we're all responsible to create our own contentment. It's an ongoing thing. Yeah. So logotherapy is a type of therapy where you're going through like what's your creation. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's I think the best-selling book in, I don't know about the world, but in many different languages.
It's one of them. Yeah. Like, my mom always said when I was a kid, and I was like, oh, I'm like whatever. I was just like complaining. She was like, happiness is a choice.
It's a choice. And
maybe sometimes she said it just to like, you know, I'm not dealing with this. Happiness is a choice. You're actually choosing to have this shitty attitude right now. Like, I think, you know, I don't know how much she believed what she was telling me, but I was young enough that like, happiness is a choice. Like, these are facts that I believe, and I still believe them. And like, when something bad happens to me, like, I choose joy. I choose this will probably end up being the best thing that ever happened to me. You know?
Hope so. I hope so. Is sadness a choice?
That, I think, is kind of what I was getting back to with my 20s. Like, I was thinking the other day of, like, I liked that emo energy of, like, searching for things, finding myself, like, a work in progress, like, that kind of energy.
Yeah.
You know? It's weird. But
yeah. Well, it creates friction to rub up against, and you rub up against it to grow, like an obstacle to creating your own drudge.
Yeah, I think life, to have a life of, like, to be like enlightened at age 2, and then like that doesn't exist, you know, like you go through doubt and pain and like you live, but I think but like sadness, grief, like is important. And like it's not bad, it's not negative. Like if someone in your family dies, like, sad.
When somebody in your family dies, not if.
Yeah, when. Or someone you love dies. There is sadness. And like that's not, I think the opposite of like this joy is not sad. The opposite of this joy is like fear. Sadness is like also like love and like, you know, beauty in sadness.
It just doesn't feel good, and it doesn't have to feel good
it's
for
pain.
it to be good. It's painful.
Yeah, it's painful, but the opposite of this like feeling, this attitude that we're talking about, I think the opposite of that is fear and like tension and anger and hate. Like sadness is actually a beautiful emotion. That's like you love something and it's gone. You're mourning. You're like paying tribute to it almost, like
going through
it. Yeah. So,
way.
but I think, I mean, I guess in some extent, probably it is a choice though. If, you could go take a stoic route and say, hey, we will all be dust one day. We were born to die. Everything dies. Everybody dies. That is just how it goes.
But then in that moment, you're choosing happiness. You're choosing like the opposite. So sadness, we kind of deduce to like a feeling, right? You feel the grief, you feel the pain, you feel maybe happiness, you feel excited. Choosing to feel excited. I'm not choosing. Who would choose sadness? If you're choosing happiness, you can choose it, even in a situation that feels sad.
I guess it's more contentness than happiness.
Contentment.
Like,
yes.
Contentment.
Yeah.
Like, this person passed away who I loved. That is sad.
Excuse me.
But life goes on. Everyone will die. I will die. This is just the world we live in. It's a beautiful thing.
Acceptance.
And acceptance.
Yeah.
I think you can choose acceptance.
Yeah.
But probably you'd still be like, some days you're going to look at a picture of that person or think of a memory or eat a food that reminds you of them. And it's like, fuck, you're just
What
sad.
food would Christine remind you?
Or what food would remind me of Christine?
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's eggs and potatoes for Paul.
No, I mean, no.
That's what would remind me of you.
Oh,
Yes.
I see.
Eggs and
Yes.
potatoes.
I mean, I was thinking
I was gonna ask you too.
coffee ice cream,
Oh.
nachos, popcorn.
Shout out nachos, popcorn, coffee ice cream. I love you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that your favorite ice cream?
That and pistachio.
Just coffee ice cream we've eaten together so much. I don't know. That's what made me
You get
say
it. You
that, I
both
guess.
like it.
Same with popcorn. It's not like you're someone who loves popcorn, but like we eat popcorn together in bed. It's like a thing, like.
It's our go-to.
So yeah.
Do you have a
those would be
TV in your room?
Oh yeah.
So you're watching TV and eating popcorn?
Oh,
Yeah.
Big time.
No butter.
Like
No
little
butter. I
bed
make it on the
rats.
stove.
Yeah.
Oil, salt.
Yeah,
Boom.
not in the bag. We don't do that. We're really worried about all these toxins we keep hearing about. we cut the
Toxins.
freaking
We're burning that
we
sage.
cut the
Get rid of
tea
that.
and we put
Okay.
it in here loose leaf. We're going all out. Like,
Yeah, we're trying to be more natural and just more.
I appreciate that you're willing to take those initiatives with me around the house.
I like them. I like
I do too.
that. Okay, wait, let's talk about like rocks and shit.
Okay.
Okay, because so many times people have been like, I had a friend, I won't say his name, but he was like, I want to give you something. And he gave me a rock, like as a gift. And I was like, thanks. And he's like, this has like a lot of power. It's good for like human growth, confidence, courage, whatever. He said, I don't know if that's exactly what he said, but I was like, I don't believe that, but like I do like the rock and I do appreciate the gift. But it's just a rock, And then he just keeps going on and on. Rocks have power. There's this came from an asteroid. It's like that's cool. Like that's a powerful thought, concept.
Yeah.
That's amazing. But like I don't think if I hold this, I don't think anything changes.
I felt very calm fidgeting with that rock.
Holding,
it felt
fidgeting,
so good in my hand.
I feel calm holding and fidgeting this,
but
and there's something about Earth
you were
that
already
feels
talking
good.
about the power of placebos and hypnotherapy and all sorts of things. There's no
Yes.
reason to believe that they don't. They could have a real
They could.
effect.
Yeah.
Or they could have a perceived effect. And
Sure.
it sounds like
if
both of
holding
those
rocks
things.
feel good, hold rocks. But like to say that factually holds power, I don't know if that's true.
Does it not hold a charge of some kind? And do those charges not change material to material?
I don't know.
Just like
Are
they
you
do in our
asking me
body?
or are you telling me?
I am.
I don't know. Like crystal shit, like what's up with the crystals, Lane?
Look like a crystal guy, just holding a rock and a crystal.
Between
Told
a
you.
rock and a crystal.
I'm an actor of a breathwork teacher, and sometimes it's interesting because we all wear different hats, right? And we step into that role.
Yeah, what is this one?
It's just
It's a nice. You look good in a hat.
I only wear hats. It's not because I'm bald. I've just worn them since age, like, maybe that's why I went
Maybe it's
bald.
why you're bald,
truthfully,
yeah.
Always a hat guy. This rock has been through a lot. It came from Mother Earth. Like, it's rooted energy. We talk about connecting. And when we're disconnected from stuff is when we're fractured or confused, or there's two sides of things instead of just unity. And so this rock, I guess the connection to it, and I think it is what the holder puts the power in. And that's of everything. Like whatever you decide is meaningful, whatever you decide is awkward, whatever you decide it is to you, you know, and is there a universal truth? Probably some things, and I don't know which one, love, like what's universal truth and then like what's self-perceived. So this rock to me does feel like it has energy. It's dense, and I've used rocks in ceremony where I just hold them and they're literally my life force. If I held a Bic lighter, would it be different? I don't know.
Or if you found out like, oh, that's actually like,
Not
that's
even
made of
rock,
styrofoam or something, you know, like
Styrofoam.
if it was some kind of a fake thing,
Served
it
its
wouldn't
purpose.
change. Yeah, it served its purpose. Like
Served its
it did
purpose.
make you feel that way.
Like, you know, those dream catchers, people up at dream catchers. What are they? What's going on there?
Yeah, they look cool.
And I wouldn't say manically. I used to make dream catchers like obsessively.
Manically made dream catchers.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
They would I like made them for years.
Yeah.
Would not stop.
But that's cool. I mean, I like them because they're art and they have this like witchy kind of story behind them. But yeah, are they protecting your dreams? Did you ever have a nightmare?
Yes, I did, of course.
No, they only catch your dreams. They don't catch your nightmares.
No, I think
Yeah,
it's
what
they
do they
keep
even
the
do?
nightmares from coming through.
Right, they're supposed to protect you from
The
nightmares.
good dreams go through, the bad dreams
Right. You get
stay.
caught.
But just that idea of something looking out for me while I sleep, I kind of like.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's very likely placebo. But that's great.
But then
There's
we're
nothing
saying
wrong with that.
every belief, every thought that is not backed by hard evidence is placebo.
Yeah, like
Potentially.
how
I'm
much
a-
is there that we just don't understand?
potential- Potentially.
I live in placebo world.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Holding amethyst like does make you calm.
Maybe the vibration is a certain amount that we don't even know. It's not measured. And
Maybe it is.
Like whatever.
And maybe someday we will be able to measure it and we'll say, oh, turns out the crystal shit is true.
Right.
Turns out
See, this is what where I get hung up. If you were in a cave of amethyst, do you not think that it would feel different than if you were in a cave
Would.
of
They have salt
stone?
caves and stuff out here.
Would it
crystal
not
salt
feel
caves.
different than?
I don't know. I don't know.
It would. The air is different.
The
The,
air,
element, like everything, has a
energy,
different response because
frequency.
the material is different. Like
Well,
it
I would
might
like to
not
do
be
like
a
the
measurable.
blind taste test, the Pepsi challenge of like amethyst and like rock cave. I don't know. I've never
Let's
done
go
it.
to an amethyst cave in Mexico and we'll go stand in it and see how it feels, and then we can go to a freaking sand cave.
But we
somewhere
need
else
to not
and-
know which cave we're in and say, oh, does it feel different or not? And you have to be blindfolded and you have to not know what's around you. And you have to say, okay.
I don't
This
know how this
feels
will come
different.
together, but I'm up for the challenge.
Yeah,
but
I would love to do like I mean, this is science. We do a double-blind placebo test if you can feel the rocks in the room. And if it turns out to be true, that's awesome. That's wonderful.
Now you're a believer, but you were a believer before. But now you're.
No, I mean, I'm just like,
backed by
belief,
science
but
of
to say
Paul
something is a
Christine.
fact is different, you know? Like, maybe you believe that rock has power, and I'm not going to say you're wrong because I can't prove it does. I can't prove it doesn't. But, like, I don't believe it does. You believe it does. If evidence said, oh, no, we can measure it, it does, it's like, great. Now we can categorize
on.
that as more
let's,
factual.
let's debate about something else.
Paul, if you're colorblind and you're looking at those flowers, and I tell you they're purple, and you tell me they're not, are they purple?
If I'm colorblind
Yeah.
and I'm looking at those and you tell me they're purple,
Right.
are they purple?
Yeah.
I don't know. All I know is that you've told me that they're purple.
Purple to me. I don't know. I mean, the point is,
What
like,
does this prove?
it proves that the meaning is assigned by the witnesser, the experiencer. So when we talk about universal fact, I mean, I guess you can kind of talk about colors, but like, it's not. I mean, what's red to a blind person, does that person's opinion not matter? It's not red. In his existence, it's not red. It's red defined by. I mean, I guess it is waves of light. I don't know.
Yeah, no, red is like a
But how the eye perceives red changes. It changes
Yeah.
certainly across
Might be
species. Different
orangey.
pollinators can
Yeah.
see colors that we
Because
can't.
we're just trying to make sense of shit.
no, but red is a wavelength.
A wavelength.
What red is bigger
That my eyes are perceiving.
than blue, which is like,
Right.
and then yellow
Roy
is
G.
faster
Biv,
or whatever. You know, yeah, like Roy G. Biv. That's
yeah,
those.
yeah.
That's a real spectrum of light.
Of
It is
light,
measurable. You could, if we all went blind, and like our
That's
brains were
still
hooked up
red?
to something. Yeah, that is still red. It's so, it's not like this is going to be green to you and red to me. It's red. It's measurably red.
Okay, but before who discovered gravity? Isaac Newton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before he discovered gravity, gravity still existed.
Correct.
So just because we can't yet measure the charge of those rocks or how you feel in a cave doesn't mean it's not already happening.
100%. We just don't yet know.
just
So
don't know.
just to say these things are facts is silly. it's like it's a belief.
It's a belief.
Until it's proven.
My buddy who did breath work hooked up these things to the plant, and we do breath work to plant music, and each plant had a different frequency or vibration or something.
Wow.
And I don't know. I heard music.
No, yeah, plants definitely have.
I've seen those pictures too of when you play music for like water, and then it arranges into these amazing.
The studies out right now with sound baths and cancer, shrinking tumors.
Wow.
No way.
Like that's not my placebo. It's in scientific magazines right now.
That's great.
Wild.
Yeah.
So frequencies and vibrations. That's probably what it all comes down to, and why we do any of this is to like raise our frequency. Like your human being could be lighter if you do things to lighten it.
Sure.
Become.
And people, it's like vibes, it's vibrations, man. But then
true,
like
bro.
quantum physics, it's like it is vibe. Everything is vibrating.
Right.
And like harmony is real. Like harmony is measurable. It's wavelengths lining up. Like it's math. Like, and we're all vibrating. To imagine that there's something that could make your vibration more harmonious within itself or dissonant. Yeah. Like there's logic to it, It's like for years people in Finland said like saunas are good for you. And it's like, okay, like I guess that kind of makes sense. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. And then they did this long test. Turns out it's really, really good for you.
Yep.
So now we know. Like I like let's keep beliefs in the belief category, and once they're proven or if they're disproven, then we know.
Well, it does make me happy that you said 10 years you started doing the like holistic practices, hypnotherapy, breath work. Not sure what other modalities you're choosing, but for somebody who's hardcore science guy, these are the people that we need to have the experiences. And there's so many people watching who aren't in LA or New York or Tucson or Austin or wherever, any cool hip towns. That are, not believers, because prove it to me before I do it. Well, how about you do it with an open mind? Well, I don't know how to open my mind anymore because I'm so patterned to believe in this way, and this is my conservative logic, and, unless it's not fully logical, I'm not. Guess what? It gets in the way of experience, I already have my mind made up, and I'm not even going to try. It's like, okay, cool, keep drinking that cow milk.
Yeah, I've definitely just kind of opened myself up to trying these things. Like hypnotherapy, breath work.
You opened your
third eye?
Yeah.
I opened my openness, just like
mind.
I welcomed it.
Yeah.
My mind, my heart, I don't know. Yeah. It never hurts to try something, Like
try it once, from what I'm told.
Try it once. If it's so bad, like you'll feel nothing. And then so what,
Right.
Yeah.
Within parameters, friends.
Yeah.
Trying stuff.
Sure. Fentanyl, you got to be careful.
Yeah.
Only try the tiniest little bit.
How was that?
I never did it. I haven't done that yet.
What do you mean yet? Is it on the agenda?
Oh, you never know.
You don't know. I do know.
What? Yeah, no.
Well, I would never
not
purposely try it, but maybe someday I'll take a sip of something and they'll be like, "That's fentanyl in there," and I'll be like, "Oh," and I'll be like, "This is great." Or actually, they do it in hospitals too. Like maybe I have had fentanyl. Shit,
Could
I don't
have.
know.
Going to Medellin, June 1st through 10th.
Wow.
I told you that. You told me you went to Argentina.
Yes, but I've never been to Colombia.
No.
You stoked?
I am nervous and excited, yes.
What are you nervous about?
Reading on the internet, it's a developing country.
You're going to get murdered, kidnapped, enslaved.
The second and third one are my biggest worries. If I get murdered, it is what it is, and hopefully it's... I hope nothing. I hope I don't get murdered. But
you won't know.
I don't want to be kidnapped and, slaved. That doesn't sound fun. They could rob me. They can take whatever they want. I don't want to put that in the universe, but that's not my fear. Yeah, my fear is just the unknown and reading stuff. In like 2002, it was a dangerous place controlled by Pablo Escobar and drugs. And now a lot of people go there for drugs and young girls or just girls. But I'm not going there for either of those. So, like...
Thank you for clarifying. Love that.
I feel good about, I'm not putting myself in situations which reduces the odds of whatever. But I'm paranoid. You know how I am.
Yeah.
Ish.
I didn't
What
know
are you going for?
To get away, to get away from myself and the same systems and patterns I've done, and just to go to a super cool, culturally rich country that's way different. They barely speak English there. I've got my Babbel. I've got 3 days under my belt.
There you go.
Yeah, working it.
Very good.
So
Start somewhere.
Yeah, start somewhere. My buddy lives there, and
Oh, dude, your
Stay
buddy
for
lives
10
there. I
days.
mean, it's not like
got a place to go.
yeah.
Yeah,
that's
that
cool.
makes
Yeah.
a big
It'd be
difference.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I had
good.
the same feeling before Mexico City as well, and if you guys did go,
We did go. Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
it's all our
We tried to get
friends.
you to go, but you were like, we just went.
No, I would have gone right back. I had, so there
No, I'd
was a
go right back.
conflict of
Oh, okay.
plans. I would never. Oh my gosh, I'd have been dreamy. I feel like you stayed in the same house we stayed in. I could be wrong.
We might have because JC. Yeah,
Did an Airbnb,
No,
a big
it was
one?
Airbnb, no
No.
house.
I
But I think
booked
maybe the same
spots.
neighborhood, and like then we met up with those same friends that
Yeah,
you met and
yeah.
had a great time.
Yeah.
Um,
How's the city, Mexico City?
Like, talk about things you can't measure. That there's an energy there. We were talking about New York City the other day
Yeah.
too. It's like these environments, they have these
Absolutely.
something. There's something different about
Energy,
cities, you know?
placebo. Energy, yes.
no, I mean, yeah, you're right.
But yeah, Mexico
you feel.
City was great. I was not expecting it to be like as lush and amazing as it was. I thought like it'd be like so much urban sprawl. And it was cool to go from like the residential neighborhoods to see these big hotels and different areas, and then getting outside of the city to go to the airport and just seeing how far it's sprawled. Like, I really want to go back and explore more. And
A place you want to go
travel
back
more.
to says a lot, right?
I
Like
mean-
you've been there and
Yeah.
like, I wanna
Yeah.
go back. Not done.
Yeah,
It's supposed
I
to
agree.
Get me out of here.
I know like traveling concerns are real, but it's also just like there's real concerns on a regular basis, you know, like driving your car and zoning out on autopilot mode is a dangerous thing. You know, there's things you do at home that you kind of lose track of, you know, and I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
Or,
kind of,
like-
it's just it can be easy to get scared. And then you hear stories like, you know, there
There
was
are
just those
stories
two surfers
everywhere.
that got killed in
That's
Mexico.
my
There are
fr-
3
my
surfers.
friend.
Oh no.
No way.
Yeah, lacrosse guy.
Oh, Lane, I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
super, just best dude. I mean,
Oh,
So what
no.
happened?
The American
Wow.
guy,
the Australian guy.
the Australian
Yeah.
guy.
Big
They
old
were just
koala.
surfing in
6'5",
Mexico
250,
and-
big dude, not small.
What happened?
Yeah,
I
they
didn't hear
just
about
got like their truck stolen and they got shot and dumped into a well.
it. Oh,
Wild. It's wild. They went missing. He wasn't back from work. That's when I got on board because I had no idea.
wow.
So they're missing like 3 days, 4 days, and then just that. And the guy, I mean, it's almost, talk about grief or sadness or whatever it may be. It's like, he was such a light in the world. Like, I'm cool, but like, you see people, you're like, that guy's the coolest guy ever. It's like, maybe he did his thing. Maybe and who knows? It's trying to.
Well, they always say only the good die young,
Yeah.
you know.
And then his brother was a doctor, and then the other buddy. So pretty gnarly. Which also at the time increased fear of me going to Columbia, but also decreased it because I'm like, not YOLO, but like, all right, dude, like, what am I going to worry about? You don't know. If I read somewhere else about Santa Monica, I'd be like, oh, someone stabbed on the metro. Oh, jogger, raped. You read all these things. Santa Monica. I go down to Santa Monica. I'm not worried. I just,
Yeah. Yeah, it's
that's
like
what it is.
Chicago gun violence is like internationally
100%,
famous.
totally.
But if you're in Chicago, it's not like you're like ducking bullets every
right.
second, or like we have a friend from Sinaloa. He grew up in Sinaloa.
Right.
And I was like, "What's it like?" He's like, "It's cool. It's
Sure,
life.
it's really
like
cool.
I
Yeah.
hang out with my family. We go to the store. Like we go to the mall. Like it's life. But you would expect it's like and like just drug runners everywhere and like people getting kidnapped. There's some of that. There's some of that in Chicago. There's some of that in LA. But like
It's like, what can you do? You're just going to say no to all the experiences
Yeah.
because of what bad things could happen? Like, it's a hard thing to do, right? You want to be sensible. You want to protect
Right.
yourself. But part of growth comes from like that uncomfortable,
That's it. That's what I'm
unknown.
going
So
there,
what do
yeah.
you do? Like, I feel like you
Explore.
have to just keep pursuing it. It's, I think, a interesting connection to that as like a woman too. There's like another layer of
Totally.
safety. Like there's so many more stories of women's bodies ending up in that situation than a group of 3 young men. Like,
sure. And like you're not going to be enslaved, but like a girl might actually be enslaved.
yeah, there's a lot of, fear out there, right? There's a lot. So I don't know. It's
Not
just,
to change or move with the subject, a lot of fear and a lot of fear of men. When you see the TikTok of the woman, would you rather be in the woods stranded
bear
with a bear
or a man?
And I think more people said a bear. More women said a bear. Which means, Paul, we are working on positive masculinity. and
yeah, I was
being
thinking that as you guys were.
strong but masculine.
talking about your therapy.
Yeah.
all
Because
this.
it's not fair that women have to live like that.
Yeah. I mean, yes.
I can't
agree.
believe it, but it happens.
Completely agree. Yeah.
So everyone should just bring their rock, and it keeps you
If you
safe.
had that rock with you, if you had some amethyst in your pocket,
Yeah, just keep
this-
Could
bad
gouge an
things
ay
don't
out with
happen.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, or
a
carry
scoop.
pepper spray.
It's got a physical density that doesn't snap under pressure. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Been forged in the fires of the universe. you
Yeah.
know?
Princess.
But like, as have we, like we are just as magical as the amethyst, if not more. And like everything in us is like a star exploded in the
yeah,
universe.
I saw a picture
it's
of like
insane.
I'd carry you in my pocket if I could, but it's just gonna be some amethyst,
I'd hang it down a little bit.
I
Drag
saw
it down.
pictures of like human remains under a microscope recently, and it looked like the cosmos. Like everything was just different colored black, and it was just wild.
Stardust.
I wonder if it was true.
Yeah, and
Do you
even
think
like
it's true?
I do.
the
Seems true to me. We're made of those little tiny crystals.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, it's just crazy. Life is crazy. Like we're all really the odds. Like I almost died one time, and everyone's like, "You're so lucky to be alive," and I was like, "You're lucky to be alive." Like, what are the odds that you're alive? Like, what are the odds if you had to calculate them that you're alive, that you ever existed? They're fucking astronomical. Like
Less if you're in China, though. Like, you have better odds, right? More people, more
I'm just saying.
reproduction.
Well,
The
no,
fact that any
like-
of us are alive, the fact that there's an inhabitable planet in the universe, I mean, what are the fucking odds? There's so much. And like one person surviving a car crash or this or that changes the odds so slightly, but the odds anything ever happened is crazy.
So the story you're going to tell is, purpose on here is, on this rock, because you get to choose it, I think, or is it already chosen? And are you living it?
I'm not like a predestined believer most days. I do think about it. I mean, I don't think there's destiny, but perhaps there's like momentum. If I roll a ball off the table, it falls off the table. It's not, as it's rolling, it's not destined to fall off the table. It's just heading that direction, and that's where it's going to go. And like everything in the
Forces
universe is
around
just
it.
moving. So were you destined to end up there, or was that just kind of where the motion was going to take you? Like, it's not your destiny if a river takes you a mile downstream.
It's your
but-
fate. And then your destiny is what you do with it. I just
No,
read that
I don't
recently.
even think it's your fate.
Yeah.
Like, you're in a river, it's going to take you because it's moving, but is it your destiny? Is it your fate? Is it your purpose that you're there? Or is it just kind of like the way things go? Like, is the earth destined to come around every year? Or is it
so.
just
A couple more.
gravity and force and energy is moving it around? And like, it's in
part.
motion,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's not Earth's destiny to go around the sun every year.
So-
it's just going to do it.
If you're in this water being swept down, I picture like up in Northern California somewhere, it's raging water,
Okay.
and you're being washed down, is it your destiny if you get washed onto a rock, or do you have like control or say or any of that, or is it just like, I'm at the expense of fate, outside elements, I have no choice in this matter?
I mean, if
Maybe my
there's
choice is to panic, I don't know.
No, well, if you have choice anywhere, you have choice everywhere. If there's destiny in that moment, then we're saying
accept what's
destiny is
going
just
on.
something that exists. It's you were destined to sit here with me, and I was destined to sit here with you. If there's not destiny and we just have free will and we are just choosing what we're doing, then in that moment when you're going down the raging rapids, it's not your destiny. Destiny doesn't exist. It's really, does destiny exist or not? Does fate
Right.
exist, or are we just kind of living and choosing what we're doing?
We're bots. None of it's real. It's all trying to figure it out.
These are
man.
Christine's least favorite kinds of conversations. That we're kind of get a little into the weeds here, huh?
Well, we can turn left.
I'm trying to be here, trying to stay right here and not get distracted.
We're glad you're here. No, I didn't mean to pick on you.
Where's the distraction? Tell me about it.
Well, no,
lights are bright as fuck.
Yeah, right.
yeah,
the
sorry,
lights
studio
are bright.
lights,
Too.
TV.
I
man.
just
It's all
suddenly
for the
have
TV.
a craving for coffee ice cream.
Coffee
you
ice
know?
cream, yeah.
Sounds good. Chocolate chip cookies. Gonna be
Oh
good.
Well,
yeah, I forgot you brought cookies.
We've been going for like
Thank
an
you.
hour. This was awesome.
Cool.
Let's wrap it up. Lane,
Yes, sir.
I love you.
Love you too, man. It's been
Yeah,
a good,
thank
good
you.
relationship. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's been
Good
definitely.
relationship. What a friendship we've
Yeah,
got going
it's
on.
real.
Yeah, grateful for you.
And not to keep going, but wonder what creates a good friendship. And I consider you two good friends, and JC and the girls we met in Mexico. And there's certain people who I consider good friends. You know, time's not going to matter and distance isn't going to matter. And it's like, those are my people. What creates, I don't know, what creates that bond of like intimacy or
chemistry?
Yeah, of something.
We say
like,
chemistry. Is it literally chemistry?
It's another thing we don't measure a lot. Like, what is it? That
What
comfort level where
Right.
you're like, oh, I feel
I
like
see
I've
you.
known you for ages. Like, just feel like one of me. Like, why do you feel that same way?
These are my homies. They're all.
I don't know. I think.
Like we didn't travel together, so we didn't have that experience.
No, we haven't really had like a bonding experience per se.
The music at our house was super cool.
Yeah.
Her
No, but
driving to a wedding.
We got
was
on.
pretty special.
We got on the first time we met. I feel
Before
like.
that. Yeah.
I think it's like real recognize real.
Yeah.
If you're an
there
honest
you go.
person
There
and you
you
meet
go.
another person who's
Yeah.
just honest
Yeah.
like you are,
there's no.
like you gotta connect. You know.
yeah.
If you were some like.
I've connected with plenty of liars.
Yeah, but eventually that falls
Dishonest.
apart. Eventually that falls apart because
Right.
the dishonesty
Yeah.
Right,
comes to the
leads
surface.
to
Yeah.
You know.
Guess it's like,
Separation.
that's true.
Like.
And the
I don't know.
honesty is where you're
That's
going
true.
there.
I
Yeah, that's been
think,
good.
I not to oversimplify it. I'm
Correct.
sure there's some. I mean, I don't know, because even some people you go like, that guy's a fucking asshole, but he says what he thinks, like he's being himself, and you
Yeah.
kind of like tolerate those assholes
What are you
more
talking
than
about?
fake nice
Yeah,
people.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Because an asshole has an opinion. You don't have to agree. I don't have to agree
Yeah.
with you, man. Bring something to the table. Be kind. Don't be the asshole part. It's like, But
yeah. Like I would never stay friends with a fake ass fucking nice person.
Right.
But if a friend was like
Right.
kind of an asshole, but they're honest and they're true.
Still likable.
And nice to me.
Well, yeah, of course.
Nice to us.
Not being rude, of course, but I don't know. I think honesty and truth is is the big thing, and when you meet someone you're like, I feel like I've known you forever, it's like because they're just being real and you're being real, and
But
you're
it's
just
so
like,
weird.
feeling
There's
it.
so much on like just these unassumed, unexpressed things. Like to express verbally like all that you are to a person doesn't happen in like the first encounters, right?
course,
So it's
no.
just like it is an interesting thing to consider. Like how
All
do
that you
you
think you
how do
are.
you separate people? Because we do it all the time, and we're judging people within seconds of seeing them
Mm-hmm.
all the time.
Fucking frequencies and vibrations first and foremost. Like
Yeah,
know,
possibly.
good
I mean, we've also
vibes,
evolved
good
for
vibes.
millions of years, and like at least for the last like 500,000 years, it's been very important to quickly assess if someone's trustworthy or not. And like sometimes you're wrong. Sometimes you meet someone, you're like, at first I didn't like this guy, but then I got to know him and I was like, oh, okay, I actually
get
love
him.
that guy. Sometimes you're wrong.
Sure.
And then the opposite, where
sometimes
sometimes
you
you
get
fall
tricked.
for someone and then you realize, oh yeah, you were tricked or something. But I think recognizing
Said it.
honesty,
Real recognize.
real
is
recognize
you
real.
know? Call
That's
ourselves
I think
real.
that's it.
Real
It's like,
motherfuckers, man.
yeah,
Well,
Real
you're a real
stick
true
guy.
blue guy.
Real true blue guy.
True blue.
Keep it blue.
keep it blue.
Go Dodgers.
All right, namaste.
Namaste.
Good night, everybody.
That's fun.
That was awesome.
Inside.